Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we have coffee, we have books, and yet I have missed the rain again. No worries, we will dive into the books and we will just pretend that it's not quite chilly outside here in northern Alabama. It is, according to my phone, holding at about 39 degrees. For us in northern Alabama, that's actually pretty cold. I know a lot of the country gets much colder weather. I've lived in places that are much colder, but it's like a wet cold here, which just seems to cut through so much, I guess, harsher. It is very piercing when it's a wet cold. So if you know, you know. I am not saying that like Chicago cold is not cold, because that's cold too. Because that wind, ooh. Anyway, let's dive into The Case of the Missing Maid by Rob Osler. This is a book that I picked up because I love a good kind of mystery, whodunit, sleuthing sort of book. And this is what I got. And honestly, hit the spot. I was pleasantly surprised, and I gave it a pretty good review. I really would have loved to give this like a 4.5 star. It's not perfect. And towards the end, I did kind of start to feel it was being maybe rushed a little bit, or maybe at a point that he didn't know where he was quite going with it, so he wrapped it up in the best way he could. I'm not sure. But honestly, I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with most of the characters. So it was a fun book, easy to read, and was not an incredibly long book either, so was able to read it in a few short sittings. So let's dive into the summary and see what we think. Let's expand that just a little bit. Chicago, 1898. Harriet Morrow is a junior detective on the scene in the Windy City, and she's defying every convention of her time. But can she maintain composure when her first case proves more scandalous than a woman trading skirts for trousers? Rough around the edges, Harriet Morrow has long been drawn to the idea of whizzing around the city on her bicycle as a professional detective, solving crimes for a living without having to take a husband. Just 21, with a younger brother to support, she seizes the chance with the prestigious Prescott Agency. When the prestigious Prescott Agency hires her as its first woman operative. The move sparks controversies with skeptical male colleagues, a high-strung office secretary, and her boss, Mr. Theodore Prescott, all waiting for her to unravel under the pressure. Only an hour into the job, Harriet has discovered the whereabouts of a missing maid from one of the most extravagant mansions on Prairie Avenue. Owner Pearl Bartlett has a reputation for sending operatives on wild goose chases around her grand estate. But Harriet believes the stunningly beautiful Agnes Wozniak has indeed vanished under mysterious circumstances, possibly a victim of napping, if I could speak, that would be lovely, and possibly a victim of something worse. With Prescott pushing a hard deadline, Harriet's burgeoning career depends on working through a labyrinth of eccentric characters and murky motives on a race to discover who made Agnes disappear. When her search leads to Chicago's Polish community and a new friendship in Agnes's charming older sister Barbara, clues scatter around the city, slowly reveal just how much depends on Harriet's inexperienced investigation for answers and the deep danger that awaits once she learns the truth. So, I will say, one of my favorite things is I think, of course, I've mentioned, I've lived in Chicago before, and I love the city of Chicago. It is truly one of my favorites. I lived in a neighborhood called Winamac Park, and then moved down to Wicker Park, very close to the corner of, I think it's Milwaukee and Damon and North Avenue. I was very, very close. I was like a 3-minute walk to that point right there, to that blue line, and I loved it. It was such an amazing city. Now, reading this book, now, even though it's set in 1898, I recognized a lot of these street names, and I was having so much fun just kind of making my mental map. I really wanted to pull up my Google map and like kind of like go through as Harriet was riding her bike. There were some points that I was just like, how did they get from Evanston like back down in X amount of time on a bike? Because I'm just thinking that me in a car or me in a bus is going to absolutely take forever to try to make that same distance. But they talked about a lot of streets that I was very familiar with, and so it just, I guess, hit a note of nostalgia for me that I really enjoyed. I also like this sort of sleuthing type of book where this very strong woman like character is placed into this male dominating position, and she's really given a chance. So her boss, Mr. Prescott, really does seem to have a lot of faith in her. There's not really a point. Now, even though this summary seems to say that he is like waiting for her to unravel under pressure, I don't feel like that's truly the case. I feel like Prescott has a lot of faith in her with regards to the way he's treating her. And it truly does seem like he is treating her the same way he's treating his other operatives. So he's not demeaning to her. He doesn't treat her like another quote unquote female in the office. He does not treat her quote unquote like one of the boys either. He treats her like an operative, like a junior operative, because she is brand new and this is her first week, so she is inexperienced, yes, but I don't feel like he's like being derogatory because she's a female or because of X, Y, and Z. I think he really is giving her a chance to prove her her mettle, and I really liked seeing that. There is one guy in the office, his name is Carl, who really seems kind of not adverse to her as a female, just adverse to Harriet as a person. And it doesn't seem like her being a female has anything to do with it. It seems as though there's something else, and it could just be his personality. There is another operative named Matthew who is much more amenable, and they seem to get along pretty well because he takes her to go shooting and practice and that sort of thing. He also takes her to get her first firearm, which she gets really excited about because she's pretty good at it. She does actually have a knack for following up with clues and paying attention to some things. Now, she does, as a junior operative and as someone who is probably a little overly eager to prove herself, does probably go in, and I don't want to say guns a-blazing because she doesn't get that until much later on in the book, but does go in a little bit probably face forward into situations without maybe reining it in and thinking before she acts. So that's probably something, but I think that's a fun part of the book a little bit too. It's a fiction book, so you've got to have a character who's just out there trying to prove herself. When it comes to Miss Pearl Bartlett, she is a hoot. I feel like I've known some ladies like that in my past, and they have been just the coolest old ladies ever. And I do think it's funny that we get this description of this stunningly beautiful Agnes Wozniak, and we don't actually, I guess, we only ever, through Harriet, we don't, as readers, see a picture of her, but we only get her described by various people. And of course, that's their description, is that she's this beautiful woman. And it's like, okay, she's pretty, but what else is there about her that makes her, like, so appealing. And Miss Pearl, she's just like, well, she's a really good maid. She's like, she's maybe a little scatterbrained sometimes, and she's like constantly losing things. So we've had to call the police several times because like my jewelry's gone missing and this has gone missing, and we've had to do this. And now the maid herself has gone missing. So that's where you do get this reputation, or Miss Pearl gets this reputation for operatives showing up and sending them on goose chases, because one of the operatives from the Prescott Agency has arrived or gone to Pearl's house in the past, Miss Pearl Bartlett's house, and she's had missing silverware or missing jewelry, and they've had to come out and locate it somewhere in this mansion. Now, I will say, Chicago, there are some places in Chicago you can go that are just like, they're stunning. They're like beautiful. And you can just walk down the street and you're like, wow, I swear I'm in the middle of a big city, and where did this house come from? But anyway, they are gorgeous if you ever run across them. Harriet's first, I guess, case is supposed to be about this missing maid, but man, does it take some twists and turns along the way. We get into like this Polish, almost mafia type situation. There's, I swear, love interest galore for Agnes, so we've got to sort through all of them. Agnes's dad is a little shady, so I think if you read the book, you'll be a little surprised by how all of that turns out. But overall, like I said, I would probably rank this book about a 4.25 to a 4.5. I really had a good time with it. I really think it was well worth the read. I like that Harriet, Miss Pearl calls Harriet Harry. And I love that ultimately Miss Pearl Bartlett gives Harriet some of her husband's clothes, because Harriet seems to go through her skirts like she just keeps constantly tearing them throughout throughout her escapades of being a junior detective. So trousers do seem to be more up her alley with regards to maybe hopping fences or shimmying out of windows and things of that nature. So she may be making a statement in the fashion world as being a woman who's wearing trousers. And she does have maybe a little bit of crush on Agnes's sister Barbara, but don't worry, because I think Barbara may also have a mutual crush as well. And they definitely find some allies along the way, which is phenomenal. And I just love that aspect because, like I said, there is a little bit of love interest, but I don't feel like it like overshadows the theme of the book, like the actual, like every once in a while I pick up a book and like the romance part of it, it's just overwhelming to the point that I'm like, where did the plot of my story go? I thought this was just enough sprinkled in that was really cute and well done. I would actually love to see like maybe Harriet or Harry solve more mysteries in her career with the Prescott Agency. Now, I don't currently see on Goodreads that this is part of a series. It does not say this is number one of any particular number, but I can definitely see where this one could potentially go into. Oh, wait. So if you go down to his name, The Case of the Missing Maid does say Book 1 in a new historical Harriet Morrow Investigates series. So only down with his name do I see that. I do think I'd love to see that more closer to the top, just so I could be aware. If I hadn't scrolled down to his name to just kind of see what else, I might not have known that right off. So just maybe putting that out there, that let's put that at the top. Let me know so I can be on the lookout for the next one, because like I said, I had fun with this character and I would love to see her growth within the Prescott Agency. But that's all I've got for now. I'm going to continue drinking my coffee, figuring out what this cold day holds for me. It is Friday for me. I am wearing my little reindeer hat that I picked up. I was supposed to have a dress that went with it, and this is just an aside, as I have found that sometimes I get off track before I talk about the book, so I'm going to get off track after I talk about the book. How about that? And ordered a dress, same time I ordered the hat, and I got the hat like last week, and so it's now been a full week and I still have not gotten the dress that I ordered at the same time. So I'm a little disappointed, because if Christmas shows up and I still have not gotten my Christmas dress, I will be sad. It is so cute. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, for liking and subscribing, for being just a part of the book community in general. I hope all your book wants are met. Your TBR continues to grow and you continue to find all the things that you want to read. And until next time, I hope I will see you on the next page. It may be in the new year, it may not. We shall certainly see. But I will still have more episodes through the month of December. And I will see you on the next page. Have a great one.